What's going on in the Atlanta real estate market? What's going on with home values? Where are the best schools? Cleve has all the answers for you. Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. Now, here's Cleve Gaddis.
Good morning and welcome to another week's edition of the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I am Cleve Gaddis, and as many of you know, I am not a professional radio show host. My real talents and expertise are based on nearly 30 years of experience as a real estate agent, a broker, speaker, and trainer. I've been fortunate to work with thousands of clients and real estate professionals all over the course of my career, and I am currently ranked as one of the top agents in Georgia and in the United States. This hasn't happened because of any magic or brilliance, because I'm certainly not a Merlin or an Einstein. Any success I've had is based on key principles and their practical application across various situations in real estate. These are the same principles and practices we try to share with you every week right here on the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. So whether you own or rent a home, need to buy or sell one, want to invest in real estate, or just need some sound advice, we welcome you to the show, and we appreciate you listening in. As always, I'm joined in the studio by my man, Alfie. Good morning, Alfie. How are you?
Good morning, Cleve. Doing good today. How are we doing today?
I noticed you're having your breakfast of champions again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, if I'm up this early in the morning, I got to have a breakfast.
And your Mountain Dew.
Yes.
I was... last week's show or the week before, I said I got you high on cocaine, meaning on Mountain Dew cocaine, yes. And my wife thought that was inappropriate.
Well,
that I was contributing to the delinquency of a minor or something.
Well, it's just Mountain Dew. Look, I don't drink coffee. This is my coffee.
That is your coffee. That's exactly right.
I cannot stand the taste of coffee.
Alfie, we have a great show. First,
so what else is new?
Oh God, Alfie, we got so much. Oh.
Always good.
We've got so much going on here today. At the beginning of the show, we're going to talk about borrowers who had home loan modifications under the HAMP program. A lot of those interest rates are resetting now, and we're going to give borrowers who had HAMP loans that might reset soon, we're going to give them some advice. We're going to describe as best we can America's next home buyer, so you want to listen for that. We're going to give the location of Grovetown, Georgia. Alfie, remember last week's show, I didn't know where Grovetown was.
You did some research, huh?
One of my clients actually sent something to me, sent me a text message right at the end of the show and told me where it was. Unfortunately, he didn't call me dummy, so we'll talk about that. I got a listener question from Jennifer in Atlanta. Has her home about half paid for, wants a new home with a basement, and wants to know if it makes sense for her to rent her existing home and purchase another home, and we'll answer that question for her. Got a question from Lisa in Clarkston. She wants to know if from now till the end of the year is a good time to sell a home in the Atlanta market, and we're going to give some very specific information based on last year's market, and hopefully that'll give Lisa the advice she needs. I got a question from a client, and she started out, it says basically, or from a listener, says, "Hey, I have an agent, but I wish you were representing me." Interesting, Alfie, if she wants me to represent her, the phone number is 770-497-0000. I'm sorry to throw that commercial right in there, Alfie, but I couldn't help myself. She's in a multiple offer situation. She's got an agent who's not willing to give her real strong advice, and she wants me to help her know what to do. So provided she will pretend that I'm giving advice to someone else instead of her, because if she's working with an agent, I need to protect her. I need to respect her relationship with that agent, but I will be happy to answer her question as if let's just say, instead of answering it to Meredith in Stone Mountain who's asking the question, we'll be answering it to Lisa, the same Lisa in Clarkston who asked the question before. We also have a special guest coming in the third segment of the show, Mary Vidarte, who is the author of Payday to Profits, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Marketing and Sales, talks about converting contacts to cash. I'm very excited to have her in the studio with us in the third segment of the show. She's going to give some specific advice on if you're a home buyer, what you probably should be looking for in the agent that represents you, and also for the real estate agents that listen to the show, and I know it's unusual, but there's a lot that listen to it every week. She'll give them some advice on how to better connect with their buyer clients. So I'm very excited about having her in the studio with us. The Lowdown on the Hood neighborhood is the feature neighborhood is Lock Highland in Roswell. If you don't know where that is, it is basically in East Cobb, northeast Cobb. It's a great location. We're going to give you the highs, the lows, and all the market details on that neighborhood. Next week, we've got Bradshaw Farms, which is up in Woodstock. So if you live in that area, you certainly want to tune in next week. And then we've got a final question, which is from somebody who has their house listed by owner. It says everything that's listed with an agent around them sells fairly quickly. Theirs is not selling, and she wants some advice from me on what could be the problem. I think the answer to the question is probably fairly simple. We can give her 4 or 5 things to think about and to consider in making the best decisions in moving forward with the sale of her home. First thing we want to talk about, Alfie, is help for borrowers who might be struggling to make higher HAMP payments. Now, HAMP stands for Home Affordable Modification Program, and that was a program put in place by the U.S. government to encourage Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac-owned loans for the servicers to help borrowers who are having trouble making payments from that late 2008 all the way up. Really, you could do a home affordable modification program today. The issue is, Alfie, if somebody received a HAMP loan modification in 2009 or 2010, the interest rate on that mortgage either already may have reset or will soon reset to a higher rate. Under the terms of those HAMP interest rate resets, the interest rates gradually reset, increasing by 1 percentage point annually until it reaches the market rate that was in effect at the time of the modification. So if the market rate at the time of a modification was 6%, then these rates, if they've artificially been reduced to 2%, they're going to increase 1% every year from now on until they get up to 6%. And so if an interest rate went from 2 to 3% on the average size loan, that's going to be an additional $1,200 per year in payments that the borrower is making. And if those higher payments are causing you to fall behind on your mortgage, or if you believe you can't afford your new HAMP payment, you really, believe it or not, even though you've already been eligible for one interest rate modification, you might be eligible to have your loan remodified under the Freddie Mac or the Fannie Mae guidelines. So what I recommend is if your interest rate is resetting under a HAMP modification and you're having trouble making the payments, reach out first to your servicer. So if you get your bill from Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Fidelity or somebody right here locally, reach out to your servicer. Tell them you have a HAMP modification. You're going to have trouble making the payments and see what they can work out for you. And 2 other resources, and make sure to write these down. You can call a housing counselor that works for HUD at 1-888-995-HOPE. Again, that's 888-995-HOPE, or you can simply go to makinghomeaffordable.gov. Again, makinghomeaffordable.gov. Interesting, good information for anybody that might be suffering from a higher house payment, a higher loan payment that was the result of a HAMP modification that is now resetting from a loan standpoint. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I'm Cleve Gaddis, your host. I'm also a full-time real estate agent and broker with a team full of agents helping buyers, sellers, investors, and landlords all throughout the metro Atlanta area make the best decisions possible when it comes to buying or selling a home.
And also a great father.
Well, thank you very much, Alfie. I appreciate that. That's nice. And I apologize. I haven't even taken a breath to give you a chance to say anything on today's show, which is amazing. Were you asleep just a little bit or no?
No.
Okay,
you're
good.
On a roll.
So you're fantastic.
When you're on a roll, I don't want to interrupt when you're on a roll, sir.
Well, let me do this. We have got some information. The housing industry, and this is an article from Freddie Mac's blog, the housing industry is wondering who America's next home buyer is. And one group is people renting single-family properties, according to a new Freddie Mac research. We asked about their housing plans for the next 3 years during a survey, this report says, and more single-family renters are likely to say they expect to buy than multifamily renters. So 53% of single-family home renters say they expect expect to buy sometime within the next year. So if you're ready to sell a home, there might be tons of renters out there that will be interested in purchasing your home. To answer the question, by the way, about where Grovetown, Georgia is, it's just outside of Augusta. And I need to say good shout out and thanks to my man Brandon Cannon of Loganville, who says, I know where it is because I used to own some property there. So thank you very much for giving me that information. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to answer a question from Jennifer in Atlanta. She says, listening to your show, loving it. Oh, I like that. We own our own home now. We're more than halfway. We're just about halfway from paying it off. Would it be worth holding on to it and renting it to buy another home? We would be staying in the area. My boys are in high school. We just want a basement. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to give Jennifer some advice on whether or not it would make sense to sell her home, to either sell her home and buy a new home or rent her home and buy a home. So stick with us, and we'll be right back.
This is Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. You're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I'm Cleve Gaddis, your part-time radio show host, full-time real estate agent and broker with a team full of agents helping buyers, sellers, investors, and landlords all throughout the metro Atlanta make the best decisions possible when it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate. We put your interest first. My name is Gaddis. It's the name on the door, and I guarantee it. I'm here in the studio with my man Alfie, who is eating his breakfast of champions, as usual, with his Mountain Dew. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is it colder in here than normal?
I turned down the air.
Because it feels warmer than normal.
Oh, I turned down the air.
But the windows are all fogged up.
Oh, because it's probably... Well, I mean, the air has been on all night, so I turned it off before you got in.
So Alfie... walking down the hallway in the studio this morning.
Yes.
I don't know about those red hallways.
It's interesting. We had the comedian Gallagher on the Sully show
yes, I heard
last
that.
week.
I heard that.
He also was not a big fan of the red hallways.
He was not?
No, he was not. He didn't
it's just
really
kind of
enjoy
weird when you have red walls, red ceiling, red floor, everything's red.
Well, not the whole, this
just
part of the hallway will be
just the one hallway. Yes.
Well, red's the official color of iHeart Radio, so
yeah.
that's one of the primary reasons why the hallway's red. And luckily, not the whole building or every hallway is going to be this red, but
yes.
But
I'm afraid I might have a epileptic fit or something if the whole building was red.
I think you and amongst other people. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is.
Luckily, Alfie, these walls aren't red.
Whenever they come to you and I,
yes, sir.
Before they make decisions like that, we'll chime in. I'm pretty sure they haven't asked either one of us.
Hey, I'm just happy they went with my request of putting showers in this building.
Yes, so. And I actually saw one of those bathrooms with a shower. That's pretty nice.
Yes, well,
you'll never have to go home again.
Well, I mean, there's been weeks like when we had the ice storm last year, and when we have snow that here working at a news station. Yeah. We got to be here 24/7.
But
so
I'm wondering what's going on because I got a text message from your fiance saying thank you so much for putting those showers in there. Is everything okay? I mean, your wedding's coming up in October, and I'm not sure what's the deal there.
Well, when you've been in this radio station for 5 or 6 days, and then you come home, and she's
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But yeah,
we're probably gonna have to get back and talk about real estate. If you've just joined us, you're not listening to the Cleve and Alfie. What's going on our live show? You're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. Let's get to a couple listener questions. This one's from Jennifer in Atlanta. She says, listening to your show, we own our home now and are well more than halfway from paying it off. I think what she's saying is we are about halfway toward paying it off. We've paid off 50% of our principal balance. Would it be worth holding on to it and renting it to buy another home? We would be staying in the area. My boys are in high school. We just want a basement. And I will reach out to Jennifer and talk with her separately so we can work through her situation. And Jennifer, the answer to that question is it all depends. And I know that's not what you want to hear on the radio, but sometimes you just look at it very simply. Take the amount of equity you have in your existing home and look at the monthly rent you can generate for that property and determine what the return on that investment would be. So let's say she has $150,000 equity in her home, and let's say she can rent the property for $2,000 a month. I'm just making something up. Look at the income, the net income that would be generated from that $2,000 a month, and then figure out what percentage that would be as a return on investment. So, for example, if the return on the investment was $15,000 a year, meaning after expenses, and she had $150,000 in equity, then she's getting a 10% return on the money she has invested in the home. Does that make sense?
Yes. Gotcha.
So, and I think that rate of return of 10% is very, very good. Now, she might have more than that. It might rent for less than that. So we need to look at the specific situation and judge it whether or not it would be a good investment return. And sometimes when you're getting ready to buy another home, you need the equity from your existing home in order to get your loan to value at or below 80%, because once you paid 20% down on your new home, then you'll avoid private mortgage insurance. So you won't pay an extra fee every single month to the lender to basically insure the lender, protect the lender against you defaulting on the loan. So Jennifer, I will reach out to you this week, and we will certainly talk about your specific situation, but the answer is it all depends on how much equity you have, how much money the property will rent for, and whether or not you need the equity into your new home. If Jennifer is married, she and her husband both can get up to $250,000 in gains on the sale of their home, provided they've lived there 2 of the last 5 years. And Alfie pay absolutely zero in federal income tax on that gain. So that's something you'd want to consider as well. Let's move on to another question. This is from Lisa in Clarkston. She says, is from now until the end of the year a good time to list and sell a home in the Atlanta real estate market? Again, that's Lisa in Clarkston. And the answer is yes. Most people unfortunately assume that the real estate market really dries up, almost goes away November, December, January, and February. But if we looked at it this way, Alfie, and I know we've talked about this before on the show, if you just took 12 months worth of sales, so you took 100% of a year's sales and divided it by 12 months, you should have 8.33% of all the closings each and every month if you had the same equal percentage of closings every single month throughout the year. Now, in the highest months of the year, Alfie, the closing rates get up, the percentage, they get up to about 10 or 10.5%. So the biggest months of the year, which are May, June, and July, you'll close about 10.5% of your sales for the year. Listen to this, Alfie. In November last year, it was 7.8% of the closings for the year were in November. In December, 9.2%. So more than December's pro rata share of the sales are closed in December. And even in January and February, which are the 2 lowest months of the year, there's 6.5% and 6.7% of the sales for the year take place in those months. So the answer to you, Lisa in Clarkston, is yes. It is a very, very good time of year to sell a house late in the year. You have less competition, and typically the buyers that are out there who are looking in November and December, I'll tell you, some husband that's being drug around looking at houses the day before Thanksgiving, it's not because he wants to be out there looking for houses. It's because he's got to buy a house. And so generally, the buyers are more motivated that time of year, and that's important. Real quick question. I have an agent, but I wish you were representing me. I love this one. We made an offer. The seller is calling for highest and best. My agent can't tell me what to do. What would you do? This is from Meredith in Stone Mountain. I'm going to answer it as if I were Lisa in Clarkston, if I'm answering her, so I'm not stepping on another real estate agent's toes. Right. But you need to be sort of aggressive and assertive. And as part of our Sure Home Buying System, we have a document that's called Winning Strategies for Multiple Offer Situations. It gives you 12 tips for making sure that your offer stands out compared to another offer. I will be honest with you. I had a conversation with Meredith offline and again gave her advice for Lisa in Clarkston, so I wouldn't be giving her advice when she has another agent or broker. And I am pleased to announce that she and her husband, Rod, won the bidding war for that home because their offer stood out compared to the competition. And I know that it'll make a big, big difference in their lives for the next few years because they're going to live in the home that they want to live in. Alfie, we've talked about this several times over the last month or two, but we recently analyzed 325 home sales throughout Metro Atlanta and determined, and we couldn't even believe it, that the average seller is walking away from closing with up to $14,000 less than they should.
Boo.
It appears that lots of home sellers think they're saving money by listing with maybe a discount broker who charges less fees, which doesn't turn out to be the case at all. And many sellers try to do their friend a favor and let them sell their home. But these cheap brokers and so-called friends, they don't really have the tools or the analytics to properly evaluate a property before putting it on the market. And this costs the sellers money. You can get an appraisal, but an appraisal really is focused more on the past while you need to determine value today and in the future. And an appraisal is really just one person's opinion of value. What if a buyer's willing to pay more than an appraiser says it's worth? Shouldn't you sell it for more? Well, $14,000 is real money. It's definitely more than you want to give away to the buyer of your home. And you say, give away? What the heck are you talking about? Well, if you don't get the money, who gets it? The buyer more than likely gets it. So if you're thinking about selling your home in the next few months and you're located in Metro Atlanta, we'll provide you with a Gaddis exclusive customized maximum value plan, which is normally about an $800 value, Alfie, at absolutely no charge. Just be one of the first 5 people to call 770-497-0000, and I'll personally sit down with you, analyze your situation, and determine if we can put more money in your pocket. I wish I could do it for every single person that calls, but we don't have time to do that, Alfie. But we can do it for the first 5 people who call. We can put more money in everybody's pocket, but we can only analyze the situation for the first 5 people to call. Call 770-497-0000. Again, remember to be one of the first 5 to call, 770-497-0000. It could be a one phone call this year that will be worth $14,000. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have a special guest in the studio, and I'm really looking forward to it. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
This is Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. Now, here's Cleve Gaddis.
Alfie, I got so excited the last segment, I forgot to mention our sponsor. I probably need to do that, don't I?
They pay for that.
Our sponsor of the last segment is John Birchfield and Brand Mortgage. John makes it his mission to guide each home buyer step by step through the entire loan process so they are educated and confident in the mortgage options available and can make the best decisions along the way. John can be reached by calling 678-226-7887. Again, 678-226-7887. John is our preferred.
The guy we like to go to.
John is our preferred lender, and I am sure if you give him a call at 678-226-7887, he will be your preferred lender as well. This segment of the show is brought to you by the law firm of O'Kelly and Sorahan. They're a full-service law firm with 15 offices throughout Metro Atlanta. They specialize in residential real estate closings, including home purchases, refinance closing, corporate relocation, and real estate contract review and title insurance matters. They can be reached by calling 770-497-1880. Again, 770-497-1880. In fact, next week in the third segment, Alfie, Joe O'Kelly will be on with us, who's the main principal in that law firm, talking about the new know before you owe rules. We have got a great guest with us in the studio. She has written a book called Payday to Profits, which is a marketing and sales guide to convert what you have to what you want. And I love that. I like to convert what I have. What do you think, Alfie? Would you like to convert what you have to what you want?
Yes.
Everybody would like to do that.
Yeah, $20 bill to like $100 would be sweet.
Oh, I like that. Payday to Profits is a guide for converting contacts to cash from corporations to individuals. It's a resource with integrative tools, which is great because it's got these little worksheets at the ends of the chapters, the beginnings of the chapters. I love it. With interactive tools and hands-on techniques that provide the platform for success. The result will be increased profits, increased customer base, hopefully broader market product recognition, and confidence in your plan for success. Mary Vidarte, and that's Vidarte. I'm pronouncing the T, the last T like a D, and I apologize for that, but it's Mary Vidarte, Vidarte. She's an author, entrepreneur, speaker, and a corporate trainer. She's also the CEO of Vidarte Marketing and Vidarte Properties, LLC. Her heart and passion is marketing and sales. She has 20-plus years, Alfie, of outstanding achievements in domestic and international marketing and sales. Her corporate work experience include highly technical legal. In fact, before the show, she and I were talking about it, and I didn't even have any idea what she was talking about. Medical and pharmaceutical marketing, sales, compliance, and litigation for several Fortune 100 companies. Mary and her 7-year-old son reside in the greater Atlanta area. Welcome, Mary.
Good morning.
Oh, you got a standing ovation. The last time we got a standing ovation was when Taylor Swift was in the other room, right, Alfie?
I wish she'd come in.
That's the story I still with. She's never been in the other room. I've never met Taylor Swift, but it's all right. I bring it up on the radio show every once in a while. Mary, welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming down here early on a Saturday morning to participate in the show. Tell us a little bit about your book, and what I'd love for you to focus on is how, and I assume you were in real estate for a while, but you've done all other kind of sales as well, right?
Oh, yes.
And so you wrote the book from the perspective of, hey, here's how to be more successful, and ultimately the definition of success for salespeople is to make more money, generally. And it's interesting because you're saying, hey, one of the things, if you want to be more successful, just focus on your client. Focus on your client. So talk about that from a real estate perspective.
Well, once you've sold real estate, you have a great perspective on what the buyer wants because you are involved with so many different types of people.
And when you say what the buyer wants, the type of house they want, the way they want to be communicated with, the way they want to be educated, what does that involve? Everything?
All the above.
Okay.
Because owning a home or even leasing a home is where you're going to live. It's an emotional event.
It's a very personal thing, isn't it?
Very personal. And within the group of people who are making the decision, one may be more emotional than the other, but ultimately the decision will be based on what they can afford and how they feel about it. So,
and what they're willing to sacrifice in order to have their family grow up in that house.
Correct.
And I just thought about that as you said that, because I don't know about you. I actually know where you live because you live right around the corner from me.
Yes.
But when I drive up in front of my house, I have some pride in that, and I'm excited, and I'm willing to sacrifice to make the payment, to paint the shutters, to put the new roof on, all that kind of stuff. So you've got some sacrifice. You got to be willing to pay the price, don't you?
I would tell clients, how do you feel when you drive in front of this house and you know it from the curb? Mm-hmm. So the seller needs to be aware of that. The buyer's got to feel it from the curb. Mm-hmm. And then I will ask the buyers, would you bring your mother-in-law here? And quickly you get a yes or no.
And that's more from a pride standpoint.
Oh,
would you be that's a great thing. Alfie, would you be proud to show your mother-in-law this house? What a great, that's a bar to see if you can jump over that bar.
Yes.
Say, yes, ma'am,
I
would.
Thought right there.
I like it. So talk about the choices that a buyer needs to make in terms of who they work with and sort of what's the logical order. We talked about that before. Yes. Talk about that.
The most important thing first is look at the different companies.
Yep.
And I tell people, go online. Majority of the information right now is online, and the buyers go online. And if you are going to sell a house or buy a house, you want to have the right company representing you. How does the sign look in the yard? How do they manage their business? What are the tools and analytics that firm is offering? Mm-hmm. So start with the right firm. Once you choose the right brokerage firm, try to meet the broker because he sets or she sets the pace of how they do business. Then look within to see which agent best connects with you and will understand what your needs are.
And so when somebody's looking to use an agent on the buyer side, how many agents do you think they should probably talk to before they decide? More than one most of the time?
Usually I recommend more than one.
Okay.
But if you are really in tune with what your needs are, you may connect with the right one right away. The most important thing is feeling a level of connection for the right reasons, not because it's a family member, not because they're
she makes the right kind of margaritas,
right? Or she's the cheapest.
Unless you're Alfie, maybe that's a point. I don't know if Alfie wants the margaritas or not. I'm not sure.
And some people are motivated. Well, I don't want to pay a lot in commission.
Yep.
Well, look at that a little bit closer. You get what you pay for.
Right.
And if you don't mind.
And on the buyer side, generally there's no commission to be paid.
Correct.
Generally that's being paid by the seller. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I'm joined in the studio by my man Alfie, as always, and we've got a very special guest, Mary Vidarte. You can find Mary online, by the way, at maryvidarte.com. That is MaryVidarte.com. Again, that's maryvidarte.com, MaryVidarte.com. Or if you really want to reach her and you can't remember how to spell her name, you just give me a call, 770-497-0000, and we will certainly hook you up with Mary. So the book was not written specifically for people who are in the real estate industry. It's written for anybody that's in any type of sales. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And give me some examples of how the book can help people get started or stay more focused in their sales career to be more successful?
I have a series of questions and answers at the end of each chapter, each focusing on a different area of marketing and sales.
Yep.
And the book is designed to help the reader determine his own answers, because the answers will vary according to your business as it changes.
Right.
But very few marketing and sales books teach you how to think properly, to ask the right questions.
And it seemed to me that it was designed to help me understand what was important to me, and then how I sort of put that in the right sales skill set. I'm not sure how to even say that. Is that
yes?
Does that make sense?
Yes. And different sales, it depends on what you're selling. So the difficult part, or the challenging part, is the ability to reach different types of salespeople with a message that is relevant. And I've done that.
Yep.
So you can get a lot out of the book and the people that you meet while you're attending one of my classes.
Yes. Oh, you'd give classes?
Yes, I have an upcoming class on November 7th, and anyone who goes online and signs up for it gets a free book and a free 20-minute consultation.
And that's MaryVidarte.com,
Yes.
MaryVidarte.com. Just go online and you can sign up for her upcoming class and get a free book. I would assume if somebody wants to just buy the book, they can go to Amazon.com and buy it there. Is that correct? Or buy it on your website?
They can, but they can go to my website or paydaytoprofits.com.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Will you stick with us for the fourth segment?
Absolutely.
You can kind of chime in about some real estate statistics. When we come back, we're going to talk about Lock Highland in Roswell. We're going to talk all about pricing in that subdivision for the last 8 years. So if you're in that area of East Cobb, you want to definitely stay tuned. And we're going to talk about what a FSBO who's having problems selling a home might need to do in order to get their home sold more quickly. So stick with us, and we'll be right back.
This is Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST.
Welcome back to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I am joined in the studio by my man Alfie, as I am every week. We also still have Mary Vidarte, who is an author, professional counselor and educator and speaker and all kinds of good stuff. Although I have to tell a little secret. She got a new car yesterday, Alfie, and it has one of those keyless ignition systems. And this morning, she almost cried sitting in her garage because she couldn't figure out how to start her car. There was no place to put the key in, and all you had to do was put your foot on the brake and push the start button. And I'm sorry to tell all your secrets in front, but that is so funny. I thought she said I was going to have to call you, Cleve, and either have you come get me and bring me in, or we'd do the interview from the telephone.
Yeah, I guess you figured it out.
You did figure. You're here, so you figured it out. It obviously worked. Mary is the author of Payday to Profits. And it's a guide for converting contacts to cash from corporations to individuals. So if you're selling to pharmaceutical companies, or you're selling to lawyers, or you're selling to just home buyers and home sellers, you certainly could use and benefit from this book. And you say you've got an upcoming seminar. Is that here in Atlanta?
Yes, it is.
What is the date again?
It is November the 7th.
November the 7th. And where's it going to be held? Do you know?
Well, I have location in Buckhead.
Got it.
So.
Fantastic. So people can come to Buckhead, which should be easy for people to get to. And just go to MaryVidarte.com to sign up. That's MaryVidarte.com. One more time, MaryVidarte.com, MaryVidarte.com. Mary, just stick with us through the last segment, and when you want to chime in, you just chime right on in. Without further ado, we're going to roll right on into our Lowdown on the Hood segment. This is a segment where we do our best to point out market changes that take place in Metro Atlanta neighborhoods, sometimes within just a few years. And the last significant market change, started in early 2007 and was finished by the end of 2008. It was amazing to watch it happen. If you ever wonder what's going on in your neighborhood, then you definitely want to pay attention to this segment. All those little changes that happen in areas around neighborhoods can have a big impact on home values and home ownership in the area. So every Every week, we spotlight one specific Metro Atlanta neighborhood to call out critical changes in market pricing and other important information to help identify unique opportunities and discuss how you might gain a competitive advantage in that area. This week, we are highlighting Lock Highland, which is in Cobb County. It is very near the intersection of Woodstock Road and Sandy Plains Road, basically right in the corner of Cobb County, where Forsyth County is actually to the east and to the north of this area. So a great location. All-time high pricing in that neighborhood was hit in 2008. Not all-time. It was the all-time high. It was the average sales price in 2008 was $325,800. By 2012, the average sales price, Mary, had dropped to $242,000. So it dropped 26%. But listen to this. In the first 6 months of 2015, average sales prices have gone back up to $367,000. This is a contemporary neighborhood set in the trees. Everything's green. It's absolutely gorgeous. So prices went down 26% and then went up 47%. So if we try to base it on a scale of 100, in 2007, 2008, prices were at 100. In 2012, they dropped to 74. And then 2015, prices were up to 113. So they're 13% higher than they started out. There are currently 4 homes for sale in the neighborhood at an average list price of $308,500. They range from a low of $240 to a high of $350. There's 1.6 months worth of inventory, and we say if there is less than 4 months worth of inventory, it is a seller's market. If there's 4 or 5 months worth of inventory, it is a balanced market. If there's more than 5 months worth of inventory, it is a buyer's market. There are about 370 homes in the neighborhood, which means in the last 3 years, homeowner equity in that neighborhood has increased $45 million, which means the homeowners in that neighborhood have $45 million more in equity today than they did a couple of years ago. The elementary school is Garrison Mill. The middle school is Mabry, and actually the subdivision is off of Mabry Road there. And the high school is Lassiter High School. Lassiter gets a school chimp score of 100. So if you're interested in a school chimp rating for your local school and whether or not you have kids, certainly local schools should play an important role in your home buying decision, because home values are influenced by the quality of the schools in the area, and that's why we created a resource called School Chimp. It's Atlanta's most comprehensive resource for public high school ratings, as well as all the other important information you'd like to know about the area, including the percentage of renters, the average household income, the educational attainment by parents, how well educated are people, the average age of homes, sales prices in the area for the last 8 years. Certainly if you're going to buy in an area, you want to get that information, because you don't want to monkey around with the schools in the area and the effect they can have on property values. School Chimp is a free service. Just log on to GoGaddis.com. That's GoGaddis.com, and click on the School Chimp tab. You can download it. It'll take just a few minutes, and it is a fantastic resource. Also, if you want to get the lowdown on your own neighborhood, just go to GoGaddis.com. That's GoGaddis.com. Click on Home Values in ATL. You can sign up for our free market snapshot report, and it's really, Alfie, you've seen these, it's really like getting a monthly checking account statement on your home's value. It shows you what's happening to values in the area. Is there more inventory or less inventory, or sales prices going up or down, or list prices to sales price ratios getting higher or getting lower. So go to GoGaddis.com. That's GoGaddis.com, and you can get your free market snapshot. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I'm in the studio here with my man Alfie and also Mary Vidarte, who is the author of Payday to Profits. Remember, if you want to go to her upcoming seminar, which is on November the 7th, if you want to reserve your spot, go to maryvidarte.com, MaryVidarte.com, and you can sign up for her seminar. And I understand if you sign up for the seminar, you get a free book. You get a copy of the book, too.
And a 20-minute consultation.
So is that to kind of dig into an individual's sales plans and goals and where they are in life and where they want to get, and then what they need to do to do that?
Some people are with a corporation. They want to have a better idea of how to work within that organization. Others have their own business. and others are doing both, and they want to know how to balance their dream job that they're creating while still keeping their steady job that
and
pays
even
the bills.
People who have jobs working for corporations who make good money, sometimes they still want to go out on their own. They're tired of being under the thumb of the man, right?
Yes.
That's amazing how that happens. They want to get out on their own. You laughed, Alfie. Are you tired of being under the thumb of the man, Alfie?
I'm tired of the man holding me down.
Hey, and in your case, by the way, I know which man you're talking about.
I'm talking about all of iHeart Media keeping me down.
Because I see him in the hallways every day. In fact, he lives out near me. Would you like me to go talk to him for you, Alfie?
Yeah, go over his house.
Got to get you a raise, man.
Thank
we
you.
have got to get you a raise. So, Mary, we've got a question from Julia in Sandy Springs. It says, I listed my house by owner, but I haven't gotten any offers. Everything around me listed by an agent sells quickly. What's the problem? What do you think about that, by the way? And I know she sent in her question wanting Cleve to answer it on the radio, but what do you think about that?
Well, the easiest way for her to learn to answer her own question is go to the website that's on the yard signs of the other neighbors whose homes are selling. Take a look at what they're doing.
Look at some of the marketing.
The marketing. Because the marketing that a different franchise will offer is a key point. And that's why you choose a company like yours that is RE/MAX. That has
like Gaddis
national.
Partners RE/MAX Center.
Yes.
Were you going to say my number is 770-497-0000 for anybody who wants to call? Or they can go to gogaddis.com to get more information? Is that what you were going to say?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, Mary, you are such a sweetheart. I appreciate it. You know, something that I think is interesting, and my advice to Julia would be, look, you need to talk to an agent. And if you want to talk to us, Julia, again, 770-497-0000 is the number to call. Because sometimes it's the little things we know about staging and condition and how to set the exact right circumstances for the buyer to create within themselves the desire to buy your home. And that is huge. And it's just like, basically having somebody who's never practiced law represent you in a court case. If you're trying to sell it yourself, sometimes you just don't have the tools to get it done. Maybe 2 or 3 times in 100 you have the tools to get it done, but the other 97 or 98% of the time you're going to need some help from a licensed real estate professional in your area, and we would love, Julia, for you to consider us. Again, 770-497-0000 is the number. Mary, we appreciate you being a guest with us on the show today. I enjoyed reading your book. I especially love the little worksheets. I'm calling them worksheets. I don't know what they're supposed to be called. Exercises at the end of the chapter that are designed to help me learn all about myself. We appreciate everyone listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show right here on Talk Radio 640 WGST, and Alfie and I plan to be back here next Saturday at 9:06 a.m. We'll talk to you then.